Hello and welcome to One United. My name is Paritosh Joshi and I'm here along with Wali Siddiqui talking about the Europa League debacle. Manchester United have lost to Villarreal in the final of the Europa League, the second tier of the European competitions. Sad, disappointed, shocked. These are some words that describe how Manchester United fans must be feeling from last night. Here's Wali talking to me about how he feels. And off you go, Wali. How is the emotion?
Yeah,
You must have calmed down a bit in the past 12 hours. 12 hours.
yeah. You eventually sleep on it and then you get better. That is how life,
Mm,
that is what life is all about eventually.
mm,
But
mm,
yeah, talking about last night, there are plenty of fans, in Manchester and in England out there who believe that they have the birthright to be the proper supporters of Manchester United or any other club since they belong from that place. But if you're up
mm.
till 4 a.m. in the morning watching the shit show
Yeah.
that we saw last night and then watching 10 penalties go by and then watching a
Mm,
team losing in the end,
mm,
it requires a lot of patience and it requires a lot of faith and it requires, I don't know, some sort of love that is there with the club. So we have that. And,
mm,
so some people say that, yeah, you don't have the right and all that, etc., etc. So cut the crap. We saw
mm.
that. We tolerated it and we moved on. Anyways, coming back to the game, man. Sorry, state of affairs once again. Unai Emery, man, I think they should rename this trophy. The Europa League, instead of the Europa League, it should be the Unai League for some reason because he just knows how to win. Apart from with Arsenal, I guess. So he came in with a plan that there'll be 9 or 10 men behind the ball because he knows
Yeah.
that with the low block right in front of his, Manchester United can be actually quite useless. And yesterday, even though I thought that playing Paul Pogba in the pivot would be all right because Marcus Rashford, rather than on the right, he prefers his position on the left, that he would actually thrive there. But it was just unfortunate to see that he wasn't performing well once again. So it's quite sad to see what has happened to Marcus Rashford. I really hope that he gets better because he does have that talent. But the thing is that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, this is one of the reasons why I'm his biggest critic and why I think that we won't go anywhere with him. We will just finish in top four. The reason is that because he needs to have some big balls over here to drop some big players. I don't think that he has that. If you're seeing that Marcus Rashford isn't playing well, why do you not bench him? We say that he's a great man manager, right? The reason why he's a great man manager is because he's friends with everyone and he doesn't want to disappoint anyone. So if someone is having a stinker, you're the coach. You should also demand some authority. We saw him a little angry last night, but that's not it. You have to bench them if they're not playing well. Donny van de Beek, brother, Donny van de Beek has come from Ajax. He played Champions League semi-finals. Do you think he's not worthy enough to play a Europa League final? So, like this is me. We'll talk about it more. What about you? What were your thoughts?
What I felt about the whole situation is that Villarreal came in with a definite plan. Manchester United's plan was go all guns blazing and score as early as possible. They were pressing them right from the get go. And I talked about this in the preview as well. That I think they will go for all out attack. They will go on their what Manchester United are capable of and try to play their own game. And he did that. At least tried that. Sadly for him and Manchester United, Unai Emery's years in managerial experience came to the fore. He had a definite plan, and I will especially like to point out the centre back pairing of Villarreal. That is Raul Albiol, veteran of the game, 35
And
years
Pau
old, I
Torres.
think he is, and Pau Torres.
He's our target,
Phenomenal.
by the way.
You can, yes, he's a target for Real Madrid. He's a target for Barcelona. He is a target for Manchester United. Three clubs are running for him, and I think Manchester United have chance of signing him. But what a game he played! Even Kapu was fantastic.
Yeah.
Uh, Kapu was fantastic for them, and this guy was rejected by France's national squad when he was in his prime. He is not in his prime right now, and still he played
Mhm.
one of the finest matches that he has played. Uh, so that itself shows volumes. And I was watching this their uh, halftime dressing room video, I think, of
Yeah.
Unai Emery and Villarreal. I mean, the passion that these guys had. Manchester United had passion. I'm not saying that Manchester United lacked passion, but these guys were. It sometimes comes down to whether you have a certain mindset of we are going to give our lives in on the pitch today. And I don't think Manchester United players were ready to give their lives on the pitch because for many of them, it was we have Euros around the corner. And although they want to give everything for Manchester United, but after a high pressure season and finishing second, I think we saw it in the last month or so that things were wearing off for many players. Bruno Fernandes's recent performances haven't been the ones where we are used to see him, and especially in the last game, he was almost insignificant. He was man marked throughout the game, and he wasn't able to shake people off. And it's not easy. I get it. That's why I wasn't. It was not like I was pointing fingers like he played bad. I think everybody had an average game. Scott McTominay had a phenomenal game, and I have some controversial opinions, and I'll let them be for the last segment. And I want to talk about other things as well right now. Unai Emery, man, this guy in the 5 European League finals that he has played in, he has won 4 of them now. Three with Sevilla, one with Villarreal. The only one he lost was Arsenal Chelsea one. That was the
Right.
only final he lost. So that itself shows that this guy is quality. He knows how to play, and even before the game, he was like, "We know that Manchester United are going to be favorites, but I think we have a team capable of winning." And they showed that they have a team capable of winning. They made it difficult, even in the final game of the season for Real Madrid. Real Madrid weren't able to score throughout the game. In the last minutes, they had two quick goals. That's why Real Madrid won the game, but Real Madrid weren't able to break them down throughout the 90 minutes. It was very difficult for them. And I think the added pressure of winning was because they were not qualified for Europa League
Champions League.
or the Champions League in the league, and they had to win this. And now they will be playing. They'll be playing in the Champions League. So kudos to them. Villarreal did a fantastic job. I still think yes. I'm not gonna shy away from the fact that Rashford had the very insignificant. Only a single time he did something was a dribble. I think where he
Yeah.
performed a chop and
From the right.
got across the player. Yeah, and I want to say this that many people are wondering, oh, he missed an open sitter and this and that. That was an offside position from Bruno, and that's why he stuttered earlier. Although he should have finished it, but there was the whole agenda going on. I saw this before anybody correct. I think somebody corrected. Many pages were showing, how can you miss this? How can you miss this? I saw photos on Instagram about the shot he side footed outside the goal. So that was not a clear cut chance. That's why he started in the start because Bruno was already ahead of him. Getting that out, I want to read this uh, statement from Marcus Rashford. He has published this, I think, recently. Uh, and I want to do a video on this. Maybe I'll upload it on our channel as well. I want to talk about the fan base and stuff because this is really, really heartbreaking. I was on social
I th-
media and I shouldn't have been.
yeah.
I shouldn't have been. My bad. I was looking at the reactions, and it was heartbreaking. The kind of absolute devastating things people are ready to say at the drop of the hat, especially after the season that these lads have had. They rescued 31 points from losing positions. So you can't really question the spirit. The spirit is there. They are in the right place. Yes, they lost the final. Yes, but is it this bad that you have to abuse their families, their culture, their race, whatever? Is football. It's a game, it's a sport. Why the hell are people so much invested that they forget that they are basic human beings first? You have to be a nice human being at first. Yes, you can criticize. Obviously, you have every right to criticize when you support. But there is a limit to criticism. Criticism and harassment aren't the same thing. Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
read this
But if
statement from him.
yeah.
Just let me read this and I'll let
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
talk then.
Sure.
He has published this, I think, an hour or so back. Yeah, it's he almost published at 9 p.m. IST, 27th of May. I love this club. I love my city. This club has been my home from the age of 7. I'd be the first to say I've struggled this season. It's not about commitment, dedication, or ability. The reality is, I have had physical obstacles I have had to overcome, and that I'm still managing. That being said, there are no excuses for last night. We simply weren't good enough. I'm really sorry that we couldn't bring the silverware home. But black or white, football is football. We all wear the same shirt. We all kick the same ball. I've been playing this game from the day I could walk. I'm built for criticism of my performance, but I can't accept the ape, monkey, baboon, banana jungle talk. As a United fan myself, it's really difficult stuff to read, and I can only think about how this would made me feel as a 7-year-old reading it. How would I ever have any faith in humanity? To all those that have been encouraging to the staff, the FA, and United who have reached out for these kind words, and those I have read on here, thank you. Your support is never taken for granted. I'm 23. I still have a lot of I still have a lot to learn, and this disappointment will only add to my experience and growth. I think he addressed everything, and this is very positive from him, especially what he said last night. That interview is going quite some rounds on social media. But what this letter shows me, I think you can have your own translation to it. This showed that he has accountability. He's not running away from the fact that it was a disappointing performance and that he has not had the best of seasons. And although he has said that he was injured, but that was something we knew. He is accepting that, but still, the matter of fact is there is why go to racist remarks. And he also pointed out on Twitter that one guy who sent him some monkey emojis on his DMs. He was a primary school teacher, a maths teacher, hurling racist abuses at a 23-year-old. A 23-year-old. It's devastating. It's heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, we remember the same thing happened with Axel Tuanzebe and Anthony Martial, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it also
And
happened. It
Pogba
also
and Paul
Pogba.
Pogba.
It happened. It happened in the stadium with Paul Pogba.
Yeah,
It's happened with Fred, and you remember the penalties that they were taking. I was actually praying that Fred doesn't miss
yeah,
it,
they
because if he
hopefully
does,
they don't miss. Yes, yes. Everybody, I think
then
everybody was praying that. I saw black people coming out on Twitter saying that thank God that no
yeah,
black player missed a penalty, and it's so
yep,
heartbreaking to see that you have to fear that no black player misses just because a whole section or contingent of fans will latch on to this and hurl racist abuses at everyone and anyone who is of the color. It's heartbreaking. You don't expect
it's
this out of a football club and its fans.
it's quite ignorant, to be honest, and they don't even give it a thought before posting such things. They don't have a. I don't even think that they have a prejudice. They just do it for fun. This is something which I feel, and being ignorant, being racist at the same time is something which, I don't know, it gives you that privileged advantage. You think that you're the best within the community, because if you're not giving it a thought, and just for the lols, like we say, are posting something without giving it a thought, like I've said, I think it's stupid. Obviously, you're deviating from the game as well. Why are you deviating from the game? If you have something to say about the performance, if he has been good, talk about that. If he has been crap, talk about that. Don't don't go personal. So that is something which we need to address over here, and I hope that changes. But unfortunately, even if you're an MBE, if even if you're serving the community, etc., etc., but if you have a different appearance from the majority people out there, then you'll still get it. That has been the case. So yeah, Rashford has had a poor couple of months. We agree, which is why I honestly hope that although he's there in the Euros, you have a different school of thought over here. I honestly feel that he shouldn't have gone to the Euros, because he needs a break, man. The guy needs a fucking break. He's been injured for 6 months, all right. And I'm
It's
actually
not
glad
about six
that
months. It's not about 6 months. You are saying 6 months because he's feeling it from 6 months that he is not at his 90%, that he has had problems in his ankle.
it's gonna
He's
deflate him
injured.
even more
He's injured.
if
He's
he's
injured from the past 2 years. Just before Bruno arrived, he played through an injury just so that this club could stay afloat in the league. We
this
were
this
above
is this
10th
is
just
this
just because
is
of Marcus Rashford, and
this is
that's
also.
why from that time he
Hmm.
is being injured and he's still playing on, and he needs a
Yeah,
break.
but
I completely agree with that.
I
But
I don't
it's
blame Marcus Rashford for that.
yeah,
I don't
it's
blame Marcus
something,
Rashford that
and
I blame actually.
that's why it hurt me more when people were
Hmm.
hurling abuses at this person. Any other player, I'm still like, okay, maybe Paul Pogba is that player that you can. Okay, he's flamboyant. He's not that. He doesn't care that much about the club and this and that. But Marcus Rashford, out of everyone, out of
Your
after everything
your
he has
local
done,
local lad.
Marcus Rashford, the guy, he's a proper man. He's the guy that has been brought up in near the Old Trafford. Everything you hurl at everyone, even in the even at foreign fans, the things they shout at about, like you are not from here. Like if we talk about Manchester United, many Manchester United fans who are from near Manchester and Old Trafford will say that how can you be a fan? You are not the fan
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you are not from there.
Like,
Uh,
yeah,
but he is
that's
from
also
there.
racism.
He's from your
That's
city.
honestly that's subtle. That's subtle racism that you don't deserve to
No,
support the club since you're
it's
outside of the
not a
country.
it's not not exactly racism. It's more about that's it's more about the feeling of this is ours. It's not
Yeah,
about
being
racism.
privileged. Yeah,
Not really, because Manchester United Manchester United, Liverpool, these clubs have had a long history, and I understand that sentiment. That
yeah,
it's
but it's
about
a
cultural appropriation and stuff. But I completely see see some logic behind it. I don't see complete logic behind it, obviously. But you are moving on from that aspect. At Marcus Rashford, out of everyone, especially after the performances he's had for the past 2 years, how can you even think of abusing this player? This player, yes, he was poor on the night. Yes, he was poor for say 2 months, and this much this results in this kind of abuse. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking
yeah.
actually.
It was quite easy to target Tuan Zebi and Martial since but for Marcus Rashford, these people were actually waiting for something really significant to happen because he serves the community and he's a really good human being and all that.
Mm.
So finally, when that happened, these people actually showcased their true colors. So you have to be patient on certain occasions. I honestly have been one of the biggest critics of Marcus Rashford. I think that his past 2 months haven't been really good, and I honestly feel that he needs to be on the bench, but that doesn't make me want him to leave the club or to not start for my club anymore or resort to racist slurs because these things happen. People go through poor form. I was talking on the WhatsApp group chat a few days ago. Like, remember when Paulo Dybala had broken into the scene? Everyone used to call him the next Lionel Messi, and he was scoring against Barcelona in the
Who
Champions League
Dybala?
semi-finals.
Okay.
Dybala.
Okay.
And this season, if you look at him, I think he's just got a handful of goals, and he hasn't done anything significant. So people go through poor seasons. You need to thrive. You need to improve. If it doesn't work, all right, fine, good. That's all right. It's professional work. By the end of the day, you can leave if you want to. But yeah, stick. Yeah, you can have your criticisms, but don't be personal. But talking about the game, and we will talk about Ole's contract talks as well, which is giving me nightmares at the moment. But yeah, it's all right. But there's plenty of speculations going on that there are three managers available. I don't think that we're going to get either of them because the Glazers are pretty much happy with Solskjaer. Uh, Zidane is probably going to PSG. Maurizio Pochettino, for some reason, he wants to return back to Tottenham Hotspur. This is the
Zidane is
craziest thing
going
that
to
I've heard.
PSG. Zidane, I don't
As
think
for
Zidane is
speculations,
going to.
because
I
because
don't.
because
I
Maurizio
don't think.
Pochettino is likely to come back to Tottenham Hotspur for
If
some reason.
that's a big if. That's a big
But
if.
why?
See,
But
I
why?
won't.
Why is
I
it
won't believe
happening?
this. I won't believe this until and unless anything significant comes out of any prominent
Look,
journalist.
but by the way, this
These
is
are
this
just.
is something. Look, by the way, but there's a certain section of a news when you talk about Cristiano Ronaldo back to Manchester United, it's bull crap. But when it's Pochettino back to Tottenham Hotspur, it makes you wonder as to why does he want to come back when he can easily win the league next season? I have no clue as to why he wants to do that. And
If
then
he
you have
comes back,
Allegri.
if he comes back, and that's a big if. If he comes back, he's going to be on a contract that is going
I
to
think he's going
blow
to be the
everyone's head
most.
off.
Yeah, he's going to
Highest
highest
paid
paid,
manager
definitely.
easily.
He
If
can be the highest
he's
paid.
not coming back. If
I think so.
he's not coming back at all. Because the way he was shown the door middle of the season, he deserves better, man. Especially after the season he had, where he was not able to sign any player and he still made it to the Champions League final. And after that, you show this that you the next season, midway throughout the season, you throw him out. uh, he deserves the best contract. He needs to suck the life out of Daniel Levy and get all the money that he earns out of any player.
And
I don't
Daniel
think.
Levy is desperate to have Harry Kane. So I think one of the ways to keep Harry Kane is by bringing back
Yes,
Mauricio Pochettino, because
I think.
that could be one key factor. But yeah, Allegri is going back to Juventus, so that's
That
one
is
thing. And
confirmed.
Conte, yeah, it's confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. So
Conte, I
that's
think Real. Conte, I think Real
Conte,
conversation is going.
Real Madrid. I was quite envious when Juventus announced the Allegri signing because I'm a big fan of him. And yeah, talking about
Who do you
Solskjaer,
think is
man,
going to Inter?
Inter Milan. I have no clue man, who's available right now. Zidane, like
Ronald
I said,
Koeman.
if
Ronald Koeman.
no, Ronald Koeman is signing Dutch players, man. He signed Wijnaldum. He's going to sign Depay, so he's not going anywhere for the moment.
No,
But
Koeman.
someone will.
Koeman, I think, is going to be replaced. There was some
No, not
speculation
right
about
now,
Koeman.
because it doesn't make any sense to sign Wijnaldum and Depay. Who else would sign them? Like Depay is a good player, all right, but Wijnaldum only a Dutch player. Yeah, he's also decent, but a Dutch manager would only prefer him. So talking about Solskjaer now, and you're a big advocate of Solskjaer. I want to know the reason why you want to stick with Solskjaer, and I'll tell you why I do not want to stick with him. So what are your reasons for having him right
I'll let you talk first. I've been talking for a while. I'll let
now? Okay,
you
fine.
explain
So
yourself.
the reason why I don't want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, man. It started off quite well. Interim manager Oli was
And
something else.
tell me who do you want. Also tell me who do you want.
Fine, I wanted Allegri, but he's gone, so I don't want anyone now. If Pochettino is available, I would still go for him. Man. I don't care if he's a bottler or something. I would still go for him, or Brendan Rodgers even. But yeah, talking about Solskjaer, interim manager started off well, 4-3-3. He was ballsy. All right, interim manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is someone who was quite courageous, who did not give a shit about losing, who actually thought about winning more than drawing games. And we went on a 15 game, not even an unbeaten. I think we won 14 or 13 games on the bounce. That is something which we have been missing after he got to know that he will be the permanent manager, because he thinks that he will be sacked if he loses 3 or 4 games on the bounce. So this is something which we saw yesterday as well. The ball wasn't being moved quick enough from defense to midfield to attack. Only once we conceded the goal, there was a bit of mobility in midfield, in defense, and we were actually looking to play the quick passes. I honestly feel if we played Villarreal in 2 legs, we could have beat them quite comfortably. But since this was the big occasion, this was the final, it was playing on the players' minds and the manager's mind. We were a little safe. And from the 60th to the 90th minute, I feel that we could have won that game because we were clearly dominating, especially after Cavani scored. But during extra time, I thought that surely we're going to score a goal because these guys will also be a bit tired. We can bring in players. I've never seen a manager, honestly. In my lifetime, haven't seen a manager who hasn't made a substitution in 105 minutes. That was something which was bizarre because you have 11 players who've played games like over 50 games this season.
60 games.
And then
60 games. 60 games.
yeah, 60 games.
61st game. I think it was 61st game for United.
And then you have Marcus Rashford, who's already injured. You're having Bruno Fernandes, who wasn't having the best of times. Paul Pogba wasn't influential either. And Cavani was feeding off scraps. There was no service. So why not bring in an Alex Telles who can actually cross the ball for Cavani for his beautiful headers that he scores? Why not bring in Donny van de Beek? Because he's the most press-resistant midfielder that we have in our team. I play him in the pivot instead of Paul Pogba if you want to replace him. Why not change something? Why not bring in Amad Diallo? Yes, you can say that he's 18 years old of age, but so far what we've seen of him, I do not think that he would have dropped a 4 out of 10. I think it would have probably be a 6 out of 10. It wouldn't have been as horrible. But if you do something different, you're giving others, otherwise you're just being predictable, and that is exactly what happened. As soon as we started attacking, you must have noticed that their two fullbacks were replaced by two new ones by Unai Emery because he wanted them to be fresh over there, and he actually resorted for the game to go to extra time, and they were the ones who were more attacking in extra time. We, on the other hand, didn't do that. And it has been the story of the season. The reason why I was disappointed when we lost against Liverpool, drew against Liverpool, Chelsea, etc., was because they were there for the taking and we were quite cautious over there. And 80, how many points did City collect at the end of the day? 84. 84.
Yeah.
I think we could have done it. We did it under Mourinho. We got 81 points with, I don't think, a much better team. This team was a much better one. Throughout the course of the season, he hasn't rotated much. I think at one stage there wasn't a point of bringing the bench to face Villarreal. If we had won the game in 90 minutes, there wasn't. What was the reason of bringing the players? So I don't think that he trusts his players, the players that he bought as well. Dan James, he could have brought him as well. No, and then you have Edison Cavani, who was on a free transfer. It wasn't his transfer. Donny van de Beek, he doesn't trust. So I have no clue as to what he's trying to do. And this is something. Yes, he got a second and all that, but Liverpool without Virgil van Dijk, I think they'll be back next season without a shadow of a doubt. They'll be them and our rivals, Manchester City and Liverpool, direct rivals. It's been either them winning the Premier League, it's been them either winning the Champions League. Who's going to stop them? It should be us. At least we should put in a challenge. And people draw comparisons with him and Klopp. One more thing, Klopp in his first season was in the finals of the Europa League and the Carling Cup. He lost that. We saw that. In the second season, he went to the finals of the Champions League. He lost that. In the third season, he once again went in the finals of Champions League. He won that, and in the season after, he won the Premier League. So it's chalk and cheese. I do not see any comparison between him and Klopp, and he needs to be a bit ballsy. Like I've said, the hair didn't save a penalty since 2016. Dean Henderson, on the other hand, has saved some penalties. LVG did that in the World Cup. He brought in Tim Krul. So for that to happen, you need to be a big manager. Yes, you're a good manager. You're friends with everyone. You need to be authoritative as well. I do not think that he has that pedigree in him right now. And we can't have a manager who's learning on the job, because it's now 4 years without a trophy. It can steadily turn into 10 years. And that's something which is against Manchester United's philosophy.
So if it's going to be, you are saying that this could easily turn into 10 years,
Yeah.
and one game changed your opinion about him completely.
I was neutral. I always said since the start that if he
Come
wins
on,
a
man.
trophy,
Okay, we have a
I
comment. We have a comment. We have a comment.
yeah.
Spark says we can't blame Ole with the current team. Almost zero options on the bench. You could make a case for Dan James, but pace wasn't the solution yesterday.
But
I
Donny van de
no,
Beek was there.
I don't agree. I don't agree with him completely.
Hmm.
Donny van de Beek was there, but there is the requirement of their team was not entirely Donny van de Beek. He was also not expecting his players to be completely press resistant in the extra time, and that is on many factors. Okay, I think you had your say. Do you want to add on anything about the Ole out scenario that many fans are backing?
It doesn't matter what I said. He's going to stay for another season. I know that. So it doesn't matter. What's
Yeah,
your say?
I think Ole is still going to stay, and I believe he's going to win us trophies next season. Uh, am I being too optimistic? Maybe some fans will say. Some certain section of fans doesn't like him, and this is what I hate about the whole section is they were dead quiet before the final. Everybody, because they knew that this season nobody was expecting Ole to come second. If at the start of the season with the signings that Manchester United had, anybody told me that Manchester United are going to be second and they believe them to be second, I would have I would have bet a house that you are lying. I would have bet my house on the fact that you are not being truly honest. And I still am pretty sure that if you look at anyone saying that we'll be in the final of the Europa League, and although we missed out from the semis in the final of the FA Cup, we missed out in the semis against Manchester
But
City, I think.
you also need
In
to
the
remember that we dropped out of the Champions League to beat the Europa League. That's another
Yeah,
factor.
I completely agree. But we also won the first three out of the four games in the Champions League. So it's not like we had a completely bad Champions League. We had a decent campaign. Yes, it was heartbreaking to see when we went out. But after 2.5 years, do I see any manager else than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer uh, salvaging the club from the position that it was in? I don't think anyone could have done that. Pogba was on the ropes; he would have left if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wasn't there. Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have come in. Our club would have been in shambles if anyone else was in position. I don't think anybody else could have done the job that he has done. And although he is already getting this year, and he will show why he'll be getting more years on his contract. The fact is that right now he is not winning trophies, and I completely agree. I am also pissed off, but I still believe that Ole is the man, and he'll do it this season around if he gets the signings, and I think he'll get the signings that he requires now. This is going to be his final stint, and Manchester United board after this defeat will specially back him because the fans are pissed off right now. The fans are mad at Manchester United, and it's going to be a Herculean effort for Manchester United to finally make peace with their fans. So I think after the signings that he gets, three signings, we've been talking about this all season long. We've been talking about it for more than more than 1.5 year now. I think the last season, by the end of it as well, we were talking about this that we need a CDM, a centre back, and a right winger. That's still the demand. Jaden Sancho is in contention. Paul Torres, the one we saw last night, play a phenomenal match against Manchester United. He could be on the radar, and he's a very good player. I saw him play, and I think he could solve many of our problems at the back. Center defensive midfield, that is the position that I'm very much about. Although McTominay has had two nice games in that position in the last game in the Europa League, and in the game prior to that when we played Wolves, he had a really good game. But still think that he has some miles to go. And I believe if we get a proper right winger like Jaden Sancho and a centre back, maybe Scott McTominay will feed off and be even better. But just for the sake of it, I say at least two signings, at least, that is there are a proper right winger and a centre back. That is the least that United need to do in order to
On
stay at least in contention to fight. And I think next season we'll fight for the title. That's why I
if
think it's
it is
Ole in,
to
because no else. It's a proper. Every season has been better since Ole has come in. Every season has been better, and that's a fact. We have performed better every season. Sparks is in my
and
memory. Van de Beek has never come off the bench and made a significant impact. Ahmad has done it once. It was a gamble, but I agree. 90 minutes with no subs was a bad managerial decision. Yes, and Van de Beek, for your memory, Spark, I'll say when he came into the club, he on his debut he came off the bench and scored a goal on
he
his
scored.
debut.
He
So he
hasn't been
has
given
made
a run of
impact,
games,
and he's really good.
so he's going to be consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
going
what
to be
the
rusty.
problem is. I don't know what the problem is. He needs consecutive games to be played in consistently. Uh, I think Spark or some Manchester United fans come from a different perspective. I don't think they want someone like Van de Beek. They want someone else in that position. But what he offers is he offers stability, something Manchester United are in dire need of. And he when he's on the ball, I feel confident somehow, and that is not something I'll say for even a player like Anthony Martial, who is Wali's one of the favorite players
Yeah, he's my fan. I'm his fan. Yeah,
that Wali has. Or I'll not even say this for Bruno, because Bruno, when he has the ball, I am only on the lookout when will he release someone, or when will he
yeah.
try to go for the goal, because that's what he. I'm not confident with Bruno Fernandes on the ball. I am confident with Van de Beek on the ball. Van de Beek is a fantastic player. I'm not saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the perfect manager, but the kind of the kind of uh, uh, rise that Manchester United has seen in the past 3 years, I think people are forgetting it just for after the performance of one final. This club has been on the up, and next season, yeah, we said
See,
it
yeah,
twice now, and yeah,
yeah.
many fans won't believe it, but I still believe that Ole is the man to go for, and he will get us trophies next season in his final season of this particular contract. Spark again with a comment. No, no, I'm all for Van de Beek. Just saying the lack of game shows in his gameplay, not his fault. Yes, not his fault.
The
He's not being given enough game time. Yes, Oli.
the thing that annoys all of us about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is that he has the potential to actually do something really well with United because he knows how to go on a run of good games. He's won 14 to 15 games. He's gone unbeaten the entire season away from home. He can do that. But when it comes to the time when it matters the most, some of the decisions that he makes is actually questionable. You remember the game against PSG at home? We all we all knew that Fred was going to get sent off. We all
Hmm.
knew that. But
Yeah.
he got a yellow card in the first half. Second half, we all said that please,
I
Ole
think he
Gunnar Solskjaer.
trusts Fred a little too much because of the
That
personality
exactly.
that Fred has. I think he comes on as a leader in the field. Okay, you go there. He'll be like he needs these kind of leaders, and he that's why he trusts Maguire and Fred a lot. But I don't think the trust in Fred is being replicated. for Ole Gunnar
Yeah,
Solskjaer. Fred hasn't.
exactly.
Fred has been the shadow of himself from the previous season. Till the time Bruno wasn't there, Fred was fantastic. For the first, I think, 3 4 months, he was our best player. He was winning Man of the Month, Player of the Month trophies here and there. But after that, it's just he's not been the same player. Partly because of the fact that Bruno came in and we turned our formation in
Hmm.
a manner in which didn't really suit Fred. But Fred, for him, I believe he's going to stay at the club. I hope he proves me wrong. But he's a bang average player. Like Roy Keane says, that with him in the midfield consistently, Manchester United are going to have a tough time winning any trophies. And that's why I prefer Scott McTominay more. This formation we had yesterday, if we had a proper right winger, if we had a proper right winger, and we didn't have to play Mason Greenwood from the right channel, which is not his preferred position. His preferred
Oh
position
yeah,
is
next to you.
from the striker. Mason Greenwood was also one of the best players on the pitch yesterday.
Exactly. What annoyed me even more, but like, why did you take him
Uh,
off? So it was
Mason
something
Greenwood,
which was,
Mason Greenwood was one of the finest players. Scott McTominay had a phenomenon. And a controversial claim, I will say, when we go about every player and what rating we have to give him, I think we'll do it just after this conversation. Uh, I believe that 2 3 signings and this team could really pull it off. But I know many fans are annoyed, and myself, I am annoyed. I was annoyed. I wasn't able to sleep last night. I slept in
yeah,
the afternoon. Uh, yeah, it's tough because Manchester United are a club which should
see,
be winning trophies consistently
yeah,
and which should be competing with the elite. And people are bound to fail, and the fans are bound to get pissed off that why are not we not winning. But they are, I think just the recent performance, because it's fresh on of the memory. People are forgetting the work done in the past 2 2.5 years. That's what I feel.
yeah. Like I was saying, the only thing, like, this is something which annoys me because I know that right now we're quite frustrated, and as soon as the Premier League starts, he's gonna go on another good unbeaten run, like 10 or 11 games. Then we might have a big game against a certain team. We might play safe. We might not score a goal. The only thing that I want from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, since he's gonna stay here, is that I want him and his players to be brave enough. You remember the game against Manchester City when we lost 6-1? Yes, we lost 6-1. We lost
Mhm.
Darren Fletcher when the score was 2-1, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
And in spite
yeah,
of
yeah.
that, Sir Alex
3-1.
Ferguson put in
I
attackers.
think 3-1.
It was 3-1
I
or
think
2-1. In spite
3-1.
of
Yeah,
that,
because
Fergie,
he scored the one goal. He scored
yeah,
the
yeah.
one goal we
No,
scored.
it wasn't Darren Fletcher. It was Smalling. It was
It was
Smalling who gets
no,
on,
no,
who got
Darren
sent.
Fletcher.
It was Evans. No, no, it was
Smalling
Smalling
got
or Evans.
yes, because the one goal scored was Darren Fletcher. Smalling got sent off because he gave away a penalty. I think it was a bad
Yeah, yeah.
tackle and
So
he gave away.
it was Smalling or Evans. But yeah, the thing is that Ferguson persisted with attacking Manchester City. He put in more forwards over there, and eventually we got dismantled 6-1.
But
But it,
you're forgetting that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't have 25 years in managerial career prior to that game.
yeah, he's
Ole,
learning on the job.
Sir
I get
Alex,
that.
yes, yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is very fresh when it comes to high press, and that's why I'm saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because do you think any other manager who is this recent when it comes to managing a big club? Jurgen Klopp, before he managed Borussia Dortmund, I think he
Dortmund,
was the manager of. Before he managed Dortmund, he was the manager of
Mainz.
Mainz, and he got relegated. He got relegated with Mainz. So that's something that
Yeah,
nobody talks about. And he's a world class manager. Right? World class, people say. Only Pep Guardiola has a better record when it comes to, or as a certain Zinedine Zidane has a better record when it comes to just straight away coming into managerial position and uh, uh, getting the trophies. That is partly because of the fact that the kind of players they had, yes, but they are fantastic managers. I'm not gonna be like, okay, they have players and they have money. That's why it's no. Pep Guardiola is a fantastic manager, and there's no question about it. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't as bad as people portray him to be. He has had a good run at Molde. He won the first trophy for them in the league, I think, after 100 years, in their 100-year history. So it's not like he does not know how to win. It's just that he has
but
not won trophies as of now
yeah,
for Manchester United, and I know that's a huge, huge thing. But I still believe that he is the man. Yeah, Wally.
he does have the experience of coaching, like you said. He's already won silverware for his club Molde back in the years. But I don't think I think this is a ceiling for a big club like Manchester United, because this is something which hasn't been easy for any of the managers. David Moyes, you've seen him do wonders with West Ham. He's currently in Europe. Then you have Jose Mourinho, who got sacked as well, two decent seasons. Louis Van Gaal, World Cup semi-finalist, one decent season, he got sacked as well. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, yeah, this is his ceiling. He's done well. He's brought in players. He's got rid of Deadwood. The toxicity is something which is commendable. That toxicity is removed by him is something which is commendable. That's the only thing which is working massively in his favor, because the players actually love the guy, and as a result of that, they're playing well. They're playing with freedom. But there is a point when you also need to have that tactical nuance over here. It's either him or he needs to get a new bunch of coaches, because we have been conceding the same type of goals since the start of the bloody season. It's a set piece, it's a corner, there'll be a header, then there'll be a goal. That's the same thing that we have been doing since day one. I thought for the finals at least we will be well drilled, at least for the finals, but that wasn't the case. So when is that going to change? Is that ever going to change? He needs to bring in, and this is also one of the reasons why I want a new manager, because a manager usually doesn't sack his coaches because he trusts them. If a new manager might come in, he'll bring in a new set of coaches. So yeah, he needs a lot of players. And one more point: if you're saying that he gets minimum two signings, I honestly don't think that Jaden Sancho would be one of the ways, because if you have Mason Greenwood and Amad Diallo, I think you should prioritize centre back and central defensive midfield. If we're getting 3 or 4 signings, then I think Jadon Sancho would be the way to go, because our central defensive midfield and the centre back region, Lindelof doesn't convince me that he's a centre back. He's too
So
weak to be a centre back.
I'm saying that we are gonna get a centre back. I'm saying right wing and a centre back at least. CDM, I
Yeah.
think CDM we still can make do with Scott McTominay.
But do you think right wing? It got me thinking that if you're seeing Mason Greenwood play well, if you're seeing even Amad Diallo getting a
Because
few,
Mason Greenwood is not okay. Mason Greenwood played well, but is he a proper right wing player who is consistently getting you getting you drills, and who is gonna go all guns blazing on the right hand channel?
a
Who
makeshift.
is a
He's a
threat?
makeshift. Yeah.
Who he? Yeah, he's not the guy. He is a main striker. He is a someone who you will probably drill it to be the main striker at one point, but he's not your go-to right winger, and that's why I believe Jadon Sancho would do the trick. And you'll see, because Mason Greenwood, the thing with him is, okay, he plays well, but you would have seen this. He doesn't combine well with the midfield or with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. When a proper winger comes in, he'll combine with the uh, with the uh, with the fullback, as Luke Shaw does with Marcus Rashford at times, which they haven't been able to do in the past 2 months. That means Marcus Rashford hasn't really had the performances that we are used to seeing him in. So I think that will change our right winger and a centre back, because a threat. This takes me back to the saying that everybody prefers is the best form of defense is attack. The best form of
Yeah.
defense is offense, because when we'll be a constant threat, when we attack, people will fear going on the press against Manchester United, because they'll know that this side has the quality to break away and score the goals like Liverpool do. Like Liverpool
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
So that's what is going to change when a certain Jadon Sancho comes in, and that's why I want him in this Manchester United side. If he comes, or if he comes or not, that is going to be a big question mark. But especially after the way that we have crashed out of the Europa League, or lost in the final,
Lost. Yeah.
uh, uh, I think this would bring in red alarms within the Manchester United board, and with the hiring policies that they are making. Because if they don't make signings right now,
Yeah.
they're going to suffer long-term consequences with the fans.
Exactly, man. Look, like I said, I'm not one of the biggest fans of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but since he's staying, and I don't think the Glazers have the intention of letting him go. Since
Not
he's
right
staying,
now.
so yeah, since he's staying, you just need to get him players. You cannot repeat what you did to Jose Mourinho in his third year. You have to get him players, because that is something which he needs. Even if your tactics
And the
might.
why you were saying about Mason Greenwood. Why I want Jaden Sancho is we'll be able to play our different attackers in tandem, and that will release the load of Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. These guys have been overloaded with work for the past 2 seasons almost. Since the time
Yep.
Bruno has come in, he has been constantly in games, and that is something you don't want your players to be featuring in every game. Every game, if two players will be featured in or three players, that's why Harry Maguire's injury is a big trouble. We saw that
Mm.
because he's played every game up until the point he got injured, and that causes a different kind of stress. That causes a long-term stress, and if this kind of stress brings in long-term injuries, so it's better to give it a rest than to suffer a long-term consequence as someone like Pogba was suffering in the last season where he was injured for a long time. He was even injured for a long time in this season as well. Someone
Yeah.
like Anthony Martial is suffering because of the long-term stress, and Marcus Rashford could as well suffer because of the stress that his body is under. So I don't want that, and that's why I prefer someone like Jaden Sancho coming in.
Look, to win titles, you need a squad. You can't just depend
Yeah,
on 14 or 13 players. You cannot. You
not
need a.
even 14
You need.
players we have. We don't even have 14 players. That's the thing. Although everybody is criticizing only that he was not making, and I myself am saying that no player should be playing for 120 minutes consistently every time, especially in the final with all them pressing so high and playing attacking football. But when you look at the options he had to make a gamble. The players he had weren't his wasn't his preferred bench. He was not having this. Even if he had Anthony Martial, I think he would have sent in Anthony Martial. He trusts Anthony
Yeah.
Martial more than we like to believe. But Anthony Martial wasn't there. Harry
And
Maguire,
the
he
thing
believes
is, yeah.
Harry Maguire wasn't there.
And the thing is that he also played all his chips because the starting 11 it was quite strong. It was his strongest 11. So you
Yeah,
don't have
he
much
couldn't.
people from the bench.
Yeah,
But at the same time, yes, you still need to give Donny Van de Beek some time, man. I think he's
yeah,
quality. I think he could
Donny.
have
I
had it.
think that is one disappointment. I'm hugely
Because you're
disappointed in.
bringing in Fred. Why are you bringing in Fred? You can bring in attacking prowess such as Donny
I
Van
don't
de
know
Beek
what
instead
is
of
his.
and yeah.
There is some factors that I'll highly scrutinize him upon. That is one, his preference of Fred over anybody, because if Fred is fit, he'll play Fred every day of the week. I don't know what is his fascination with Fred. Second, his reluctance to play Van de Beek. Van de Beek, whenever he's been on the pitch, he's one of the finest one on the ball. When he's on the ball, he's one of the best players that Manchester United have on the ball. And why is Van de Beek not given enough game time? That's still out of my mind. Do you want to add on something else, or should we conclude this by giving our ratings for every player?
Yeah, man, that's about it. I think it's we'll just give the ratings and then we'll just give a final feedback. So rating of the season or of the players?
Every player.
All right, let's do that. Yeah.
And well, then I'll talk about the most controversial player of the season.
Who
Player of
who
the
was that?
season. We'll see when the
All
topic
right.
arises.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay, let's
What
start
which
from the
t-shirt
back.
am I wearing? Van Persie 20
20.
Van the Man. I think this is gonna get
The
overhauled by
last time you
Liverpool
saw.
soon. It's gonna get overhauled by
we are
Liverpool soon.
we are 21.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, we're 20, man. We're 20.
No, no, 20 time champions.
Yeah,
Because that's why we said no 21 is coming.
yeah. I hope so. I hope so. So yeah,
We'll
let's
get the
take
21.
the
Okay, let's start from the back. Dean Henderson and
Dean Henderson
DDG.
and David. Dean Henderson for me. For me, Dean Henderson. I think I'll give him. I'll give both the goalkeepers a 6. I haven't been convinced by either of them this season, so it's a 6 for me.
Dean Henderson and David De
Yeah, but
Gea, 6 for both.
David De Gea did have a wonderful game in the semi-final, so I think it's a higher 6 for him. But yeah, a 6.
I'll give him. I'll give him a 7, man. David De Gea has been ever since Dean Henderson has come into the fold. David De Gea has had his the better of his performances. Although I was critical of him in the in the Champions League, I think where we conceded goals because he was too reluctant to come out. but I'll still give him
I,
at least a 6.5.
I dropped just one mark because of last night. He should have at least
Last
saved
night,
one penalty. Just one
yeah, at
penalty. He
least,
should have.
at least,
I don't care about him scoring. I knew that he wasn't going to score, but he should have at least saved a penalty. He hasn't done that since 2016. So yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that is something that he could have done. But what can we say now?
Even in the
Dean
World Cup, you
Henderson
remember
six,
Spain.
Dean Henderson
You
six,
remember?
David De Gea
Yeah,
6.5. Is that okay?
yeah. That's fine. You remember Spain versus Russia, that World Cup. Even in that, he didn't save a single penalty against Russia, and Russia went to.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Let's continue from the back now. Goalkeepers are done. The defenders.
Yeah,
Aaron Van Bissaka.
Aaron Bissaka, he's been decent. The reason why I'm going to give him high marks, even though he has had a few poor performances in this season as well, is because
Mm,
this guy is a monster. He's fit as
mm.
a fiddle, and he doesn't get injured. And thankfully, we didn't have to see much of Brandon Williams, because if he did, it would have been chaotic. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, Spark has another comment. Guys, a request, please don't let recency effect guide your judgment. This should be a season review, not what you saw in the last few games yesterday. Yeah, Spark, I completely agree with you. That's why I said I said this when Wali was talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Uh, I believe that people are forgetting the season we have had, or the seasons we have had in the past 2 years, on one game, because of the one final, because it is recent in the memory, and because this is fresh. People are judging players on that particular aspect, and that's why I also don't mind the David De Gea thing for one game. Okay, he could have saved, but that wasn't to be so. Although it costed us a trophy, that's why I think 6.5 is fair for David De Gea. We're talking about
Van Bissaka is
goalkeepers,
7 for me.
and huh? Bisaka
Van
is 7
Bissaka
for you.
7 for me. Yeah.
I think he deserves at least 7.5.
All
I
right.
think he deserves.
Cool.
I think he deserves
Cool.
7.5, although he's not been selected for the Euros, the I don't see any logic behind it. He's a monstrous defender, and he's the best defender of a fullback we ever. Although he has his
Yeah, yeah.
troubles going forward, but as a defender,
Defensively, he's
purely as
good.
he is the best. He's the best
Yeah.
defender they could have had from the right back position. We'll see. So we'll give him a 7.5. I will give
Yeah.
him a 7.5.
Lindelof.
Lindelof. What do you have to say
5.
about it?
Plain all
Eh?
5. Plain all 5, man. Lots of defensive mistakes throughout the season. 5.
Yeah, I had high expectations of this guy, and he has not been able to fulfill them. I mean, when you play for Manchester United, you can't afford these kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
And 5 is still being generous. I'll give him a 4.
Yeah, I think so. Even I
Acha,
was actually thinking about it.
5 is still generous. Although 5 will give him 4.5 because he has had consistent games. He has been
Yeah, you could say that.
second fiddle to Maguire for most of the season. So I'll still
Yeah.
give him a 4 because we have finished second in the league. So we can't really say that he's not been good. He has been decent in games, and he scored the penalty last night. If he didn't score, I would have slandered him all day long, because it is because of him that we conceded in this game, and in the game where we draw against Fulham, where the Fulham scored late.
Lots of
That was
games, man.
also,
Lots of games.
yeah, lots of
Lots
games.
of
He
games.
got he gets pulled away from the centre back positions. That's why Aaron
Mm.
Wan-Bissaka has to come in, and that's why the right back or the left channel of the opposition gets a free run in the box.
He
So
isn't
a
strong enough. Yeah.
4.5 for Lindelof, a 4.5 for Lindelof, Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire. First half of the season, I don't think that he was good enough. Second half of the season, he redeemed himself. I think I'll give him a high 6.5.
6.5 is fair, I think. Although
Yeah.
I'll still make a judgment about 7, because he has the amount of games he has played, but I can't forget the things that he did in the Champions League. And
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
I
yeah.
am in utter, because in the first half of the season he was almost playing as the CD as a center midfielder. So I don't
Yeah, he
want
loves
that
that.
out of him. I don't want that out.
Beckham
Okay,
Bauer.
a 6.5 for Harry Maguire, and
Luke Shaw.
uh, Luke Shaw. Also, first I'll talk about the other players. Alex Telles.
Alex Telles. We didn't get to see much from him. So I think 4 or 5. That would be
I
accurate, I
think
guess.
5.5, 5.5 because whenever he was given a chance, he was decent, although not at the level we wanted him to be.
He's the best crosser in our team, by the way.
Yeah,
That he is.
when there is a corner, if he is in the team, he's the one who's going to take the corner.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to see the free kicks that we were promised from his
Yeah,
signing.
because of Luke Shaw.
So yeah, so because the season Luke Shaw had. Also, when he was given a chance, he wasn't really on target with the shots that he
I
had.
think he's the exact opposite of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. While going forward, he's quite good, but defensively,
Defensively, he's
he's
very poor. Yeah,
yeah,
so I'll give him a 5.5. He was decent, not bad, but not anything significant that you can remember throughout the
yeah,
season.
that would be
So
fair.
5.5, 5.5 for Alex Tess. Brendan Williams.
I think he just played one game, right? I don't think he played
He
in the
hardly
Premier
played.
League. He just played one game. He
The
played
final he
decently.
started the final game. He was
No, he
okay.
played. Did he play against Leicester? Yeah, he did play against Leicester. I
He
think
here
four
and
out of
there he
five.
had promise.
4 out of 5.
Five will
Yeah.
four. I think
Four,
Lindelof
four, 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 four.
if we Lindelof
I
gave
think
4.5.
Telles has been much better than Brandon Williams, so it's
Yeah,
better
yeah.
to yeah. So Brandon Williams 4.
Okay. Now the main man, Luke Shaw.
For me, he's my player of the season, and I'll give him a
Yeah,
solid.
I was about to say this. I thought you will say Bruno Fernandes, but
Nah,
that's what I
between
was going to say. That for me, Luke Shaw is the player of the season.
the reason why I'm giving Luke Shaw the player of the season instead of Bruno is simply for the fact because he's not only overcome his form, he's actually playing quite well, and but he's also uh
He's covering.
he
He covered for our centre backs. He
no,
covered
no,
for our
that's
centre
there.
backs in
That's
many
there.
games
But you know what made me even more, what surprised me even more, that he stayed fit throughout the season.
throughout the
I've
season.
never
Yeah.
seen Luke Shaw do that. He's completely remained fit throughout the season. And this is
After
the
the
reason why
kind of
he's
injury, after the
exactly.
kind of injury that he had 3 years back, and the way he
Hmm.
has came back from that injury, although it took time.
And the
Obviously, he broke the bone
and
in
the
half. Obviously,
and
it'll
the
take
mental
time.
trauma that
But
he
now,
got from
yeah,
Jose Mourinho
Jose
and all
Mourinho.
that. So let's not forget that. And he overcame all of
I'll
that.
give him a 9. I'll give him a 9. He
Good.
was the best left back in the country.
You
What do
could
you have
say
to
that.
say? I think
Yeah,
he is
clearly,
an
and he deserved it. I don't think he was in contention of getting in, getting in the side of the Euros for
Euros.
England. But
Yeah,
this
and now
season completely changed that.
he's going to start every game. I think.
He should definitely. So he's my player of the season. Yeah,
Yeah. So my player of the season is the same. Luke Shaw 9, and this concludes the
the
defenders
defense.
for.
Yep. Tuan Zebi, we missed him.
Oh my God! Yeah, Tuan Zebe.
A high
I'll give
5, I
him a
guess.
5. A 5,
Yeah.
5.5. Yeah, that will be fair. That will be fair. If we
That
giving
would be fair.
Teles 5.5, I think
Yeah.
especially in the last few games that we saw him,
Hmm.
he was actually quite decent.
I was
I
quite
am
upset that he wasn't given a run of games after PSG because he was immaculate in that game. He should have been given a run.
I think he also got injured. I think he got injured in the middle. He had a knock.
Hmm. So now we're done with the defense.
I
Now
think
let's move to the
5.5.
midfield.
I think
Yep.
5.5 is fair. If we are giving Alex says 5.5, we should be giving Tuan 5.5.
Right.
Okay,
Midfield
the
now.
defense is done. Midfield.
TDM. Scott McTominay. I think you would give him a 6, but for me, it's been a 4, man. He played well last night, but that was just one game. So I don't think I saw anything as
Yeah,
we need.
the last
We're talking
I
about
was
getting
quite
these
a
central
fan.
midfielders. Hmm.
I was quite confident about him in the starting of this season, coming off the back of the last season because of the kind of
Hmm.
performances he's pushing. After the goal against Manchester City at Old Trafford,
Yeah.
the 40-yard screamer where Edison was
Hmm.
out of his position, and
Yeah.
now I think McTominay. I think he himself knows that this season has been a kind of disappointment for him
Yeah.
because people expected way more of him than he is able to give uh, in this particular season. And
Hmm.
I think he should know this because the kind of performances. that we are expecting are of Roy Keane level, and
Yeah.
he's not been able to get them for Manchester United. I hope he does, and that solves a problem for the CDM role because he is the exact player we need. Only if he plays better, only if he plays
Yep.
better and
Yeah.
actually distributes the ball well. So Scott McTominay, it is. I think. Uh, should we give him a five? I think 5.5 is fair.
I
What
won't
do
give
you
him a
What do you want to give
5.5.
him?
Let's give him a 5. Let's middle ground. Let's give him a 5
So you
because
wanted to
he
give him
has
a four
scored.
point five,
He yeah. I wanted to give him a 4.5. He has scored some goals,
but we
So
gave
let's give him the
4.5
benefit
to
of.
Lindelof. We gave 4.5 to
Okay,
Lindelof.
so
He's been better than Lindelof. He's better than Lindelof, at least I think.
let's give him a 5 then. Standard 5.
A
So
standard five
that's
for
I would
Scott
even give
McTominay.
Fred a standard 5 as well. I don't think either of them has been better than any, like they haven't been better. I don't think McTominay has
In
been
the
better than Fred, or
in
Fred
the
has been
late
better than.
running, Scott has been better in the games in the latter half. What I'm saying, in the last few games, but Fred has been equally at par.
Yeah, but you can't
I'll give
differentiate them as much. Yeah, so
I'll give them both 4.5, man. I'll give
yeah,
them
that's
both
fine.
4.5 because we gave 4.5 to Lindelof. If he's taking the blame, this lot should also be taking the blame.
Yeah,
We could have
Paul,
had a better season if these players played better.
yeah, Paul Pogba.
Uh, Paul Pogba,
One of
significant.
his good
Not real.
good seasons. Yeah, one of his good seasons.
Yeah,
Um,
7.5, 7.5,
no,
7,
that'll
7.
be
I think 7
yes.
because
I,
he's
I was
not
gonna
as
say
good as
I was gonna say 6.5, but all right, 7 sounds fine too.
6.5 is
6 point,
also fair. But Harry Maguire
yeah.
is given 6.5. He had a better
If
season than
yeah,
Harry
so I think
Maguire.
no. If Harry Maguire is given 6.5, even Paul Pogba needs to be given a 6 point. I think that would be fair. I don't think. Yeah, he has performed quite well in
But
some games,
in the league,
but
he
for
won many games for us. He won many games for us. I think a 7 would be also fair because if Paul Pogba doesn't perform in these games, we won't be coming second.
all right, fine, 6.57. Yeah, let's give him a 7 then. Right, cool.
Paul Pogba is 7. Okay.
Who else?
Uh, now
The subs. And do we
Bruno
use any
Fernandes.
substitute for midfield?
Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno
We haven't
Fernandes,
talked
I'll
about
give
Bruno.
him a 7.5 for me because he has had some good numbers, but he hasn't been as consistent with his performances, just like Marcus Rashford in recent times for
Mm.
some reason. And he's also raised his
Mm.
expectations because if you're such a good player who delivers in like
Mm.
90% of your games, then you have to maintain that standard somehow. So yeah,
Yeah.
7.5 for me, even though 7.5 is a good number for him.
Okay. 7.5 for uh,
Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes is at
7.5.
7.5. 7.5. Yeah, man. Because of the season that at least he's getting the numbers. You can't deny the
Yeah.
fact that he was our top scorer in the league
Yeah,
in
definitely.
general as well. Okay, Bruno Fernandes with a 7.5. Have we left anyone? We have
Midfield.
left. We
Do
have
we use
left.
Donny van de Beek? Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, that's what I
Why do
we
we
have.
always leave Donny van de Beek?
It's
The
all your
manager
fault.
included.
It's all your fault, Ole. It's all your fault.
Yeah, the
Donny by the
Donny
beak.
for me. We didn't see much from him. I would give him a 5.5, man. I thought the Wolves game was his best game.
Hmm.
I certainly wanted him to have more number of games because we would have seen
5.5.
more.
5. I think 5 is fair, dude.
Yeah, fine, 5. I'm a little
Because
biased towards him. So yeah,
yeah, I am
fine.
also 5.5. We giving Alex Telles 5.5.
Okay, so it's a 5. Yeah, only
Oh,
because he wasn't given starts.
yeah,
So I
5
think 5.
because of the bias. Because of the bias, 5 is fair,
It
and
would have
I think
certainly been close
he has
to.
the
It would have
potential.
cert.
He
Yeah,
has the potential to turn this into a 9. He can
yeah, he
easily be
does.
the best fielder. He can easily be the best midfielder you'll see for United for a long while.
Oh, by the
If
way, we've got a comment over here. We missed Eric Bailly. How can we forget him?
oh my God, yeah. Thank you, Spark.
Yes. So
Bye.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's talk about him. Eric Bailly, first half of the season,
yeah.
when who got
I expect so much from this guy, and he's not able to perform. I shatters my heart.
first half of the season, you remember when it was Victor Lindelof who was on the sidelines. Eric Bailly played a few games. He made a few crucial
Yeah,
blocks, and we thought that, yeah, I think our centre back issue is solved once again. But once again, Eric Bailly goes on a trip. He
being
gets
Eric
injured.
by,
Then he gets COVID. Then he comes back, and then
but he
he's
still,
not his usual
but he
self.
was. It was still his one of the fittest seasons that he's had with Manchester United. You can't forget that.
But I think we need to. I honestly do not know why we gave him a contract. It would have been better if we sold him and got someone else because
Because
we'll be
I think
relying on him.
partly of the fact that we don't know who will we get in this in
Yeah,
the window, and
but
because if we have given him an extension, we will be able to get extra money for him because he's on a better contract.
but do you think anyone would
I think that's one
actually
of the
want
reasons.
him by then? By then, he'll be even more injury prone as the
Uh,
days go by.
let's see. He has had a better season. He has been comparatively really fit if we're
How
comparing him
much?
to other seasons.
How much did we give Axel to Anzevi?
Tuanzebe was given a 5.5.
So I think even Bai gets a 5.5 or a 6 because
5.5,
yeah,
yeah. 5.5, 5.5, 5.5 is fair.
that's yeah 5.5.
5.5 for Eric Bai.
So we were done with defense
Yeah.
midfield.
Thank you,
Now,
Spark. Thank you very much for reminding
thanks,
us.
bro.
We forgot Eric Bai. How can we forget him? He was consistently inside.
Who else? Are we missing anyone else? Juan Mata in midfield.
Okay.
Didn't get to see much. So I think 4.5 or 5. That would be all right.
Oh my god. I missed out.
You missed out Juan
I've,
Mata. Matic as well, by the way.
he
We missed out Matic.
yeah. How much we give Scott McTominay?
Scott
4.5.
McTominay, we gave him a 4.5. Scott and
4.5
Fred
along with
both.
Fred, right?
Both. Yeah. I think apart from Paul Pogba, everyone needs to get a 4.5 apart from Matic. I think he should be a 5.5. Even Matic should get a 4.5 because he didn't get much game time. So, but
Nemanja
Matic
Matic,
in the games
5.
that
I
he
think
did
5
play,
is
he
fair.
was
I think 5.
yeah
Because he played
because
really less. No, he played really
yeah
less.
yeah. But the reason we're giving him an extra mark is because our aspirations of having a number 6 is that of Nemanja Matic. We want someone to be like a Nemanja Matic, but he should be
So,
younger.
what do you want to give him? What do you want to give him?
Yeah, five is fine. I guess 5 is fine.
5 is fine.
Fine.
You Juan Mata as well, 4.5.
Yeah, mediocre midfield. Yeah, apart from Bruno and Pogba, of course.
Juan Mata, 4.5. Yeah, fair enough. Pogba,
Forwards.
Po- Pogba,
We gave him a
6.5.
7. Did we give him a 7 or
7.5 is
6.5?
for 7.5 is for
Yeah, 6.5 for
Bruno.
Paul Pogba is fair. 6.5 for Paul Pogba is fair. I think. Yeah, he got injured, but in the latter games, I don't think he performed as well. So
Harry Maguire gets a 6.5.
I think Paul Pogba was as similar to Harry Maguire, as influential as Maguire in midfield. I think you can give him a
Bruno gets a 7.5 because
7.5. Yeah, yeah.
num,
Since Shaw is for
number.
me the player of the season and he gets an 8
Uh,
for me, I think Bruno would be 7. Forwards like
Scott, Fred, Nemanja Matic, Juan Mata,
Mata.
Uh, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. Do you want to go with Ahmad and other players from academy?
I think that'll
Do
be
you want to?
in the forwards category. Yeah, Ahmad definitely, man. If it was for me, Ahmad Diallo, the games that I saw him, I honestly did not see something that I would be too worried about. I honestly feel we need to give him a lot of game time. We have a superstar in the making. If we actually invest in him, same thing that we did with Greenwood, we need to do with Ahmad Diallo because this guy looks talented. So I would give him.
Okay.
I would give him a
Do we have any midfield? Did we leave
no.
anybody?
I don't think so.
Scott
Let's go
McTominay,
with the
Fred,
forwards.
Matic, Juan Mata, Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes. I think
Let's go with the
this
forwards.
bit.
Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
Thank goodness we don't support Manchester City. Otherwise, this would have been much bigger because the squad that they have. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer just uses like 13 or 14 players, so this is easier. Anyways, forwards. Amad Diallo, you were talking about,
Marcus
right? So it's a
Rashford.
six.
No, we'll not
Okay,
talk about Diallo.
Marcus.
Diallo wasn't featured enough to be talked about the
Cool,
whole
cool,
season
all
with
right.
him.
But it was 6 for me for Amad Diallo. Anyways, Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford. Based on numbers, I would give him a 7. Based in performances, I would give him a 5.5. So let's cut to the middle. I think let's give him a 6.
I believe at least 6.5. If we're giving Pogba and Harry Maguire 6.5, I think Marcus
Fine.
Rashford deserves
I
at
think
least a
yeah, it's fine.
6.5.
All right. All right.
At least that is at least because I
Yeah. All
believe
right.
he's still a
That
seven
sounds
because
that sounds fair.
and because Bruno's number are so astronomical when in comparison to Marcus Rashford. That's why I give him a 6.5 because performances I think have been equally from both the players.
Yeah.
In some players, Bruno has shown in some matches. Bruno has shown from the rest of the squad. In some matches, Marcus Rashford has shown from some of the
So
squads.
I think yeah,
And
six point five is fine.
I think we are also letting the recency bias come into play because we are so disappointed about the European League final because we are forgetting that he has scored a hat trick against Leipzig in the Champions League and
Mm.
the kind of performances he had in the start of the season. But
Mm.
still, I think 6.5. I'll
Yeah.
like to give him a 7, but I'll have I'll
Cool.
have a 6.5 because I believe he's a much better player from what he's shown in this particular season. Okay, moving on. Anthony Martial, your favorite player.
Four, man. Four. Or in fact, even a 3.5. Four, I guess. Four is fair enough.
Four is fair. Four is fair.
Yeah.
Although he's been really poor, and he was one of the favorite players that we had in the last season. So
Yeah, he
I
was a
think
top scorer.
that
So disappointing.
because
It was
we
disappointing.
expected a lot out of him, we expected a lot better from him,
Mm.
and not to be the case. Sadly,
Yep.
Anthony Martial, the bang average for
Right wing. Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood or okay, Mason Greenwood.
Mason Greenwood, first half of the season was quite poor, on level with Anthony Martial. By the way, I thought that these two players, I don't know, this season
Uh,
is a write-off for him. But the second half
because
of the
of
season,
the, I think because
yeah, because of all those,
Foden
yeah,
as well,
in-
Foden as
yeah,
well
yeah,
in
because
the
of all
start of the
those,
season.
because of all those scenarios about his best friend and the Phil Foden
Uh,
controversy and all that. But second half of the season, he showed us why he's such a class player and why we should be considering him as the future. So I think I would give him
six
should I give him a
six
seven,
point
six
five.
point? Yeah, 6.5 is fair because first half wasn't good. The 6.5 is fair.
6.5.
Yeah,
6.5. 6.5 is fair because I think he was at par. His performances were actually better than Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes at some point.
mm,
He was better than both of them in some games.
mm,
So 6.5
mm.
at least he deserves it this season. 6.5 for Mason Greenwood. Then comes Eddie
Edison,
Cavani.
our signing of the season, who wasn't even supposed to be our signing, but thankfully we did sign him. And I think I would put him on par with Bruno Fernandes, 7.5, because the impact and the goals that he scored, those were actually some big goals. And even last night, I think he could
I'll
have.
even give him an 8. I'll even give him an 8
You
because
could,
he's
you could.
one of
I
the
think,
most. I think
yeah.
I'll give him an 8. Yeah, man. He was more influential than I think any of our attacking players.
We were actually, all of us were actually relying on him last night, like more than
Yeah.
even Bruno, I guess, more than even Bruno. Like Edison Cavani has to deliver, so and he did, and he could have got another one. It wasn't for Pau
Spark
Torres.
Spark is saying -9 for selfishness and laziness.
Let's
Okay,
keep that
Spark,
afloat.
you and I, you and
Let's
I
keep
will
that
be
aside.
great friends. You and I will be great friends.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Well, he's pissed.
we, I'm not pissed, but it's all
I
right, man. The
I
media,
want him to play
it's
well, man. I want him to play well. It's not that I don't like him. I like him as a player. I believe in his quality. It's just that he frustrates me at times, like no other player can. And just because I like the club so much, I like him as a because of the debut he had against Liverpool. The kind of
yeah, yeah.
he was supposed to be the golden boy. What is he doing? It
The thing
frustrates
is
me. It
that the
boils my
thing is
mind.
that it's also a little unfair for him. The reason why I say that is because people are comparing him to Edison Cavani. Edison Cavani is an elite striker. I don't think anyone can be compared to
Yeah,
elite striker. And
he's just behind
and
Leo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of goals. So
and the
he's
way that he
elite of the
runs,
elite.
and the way that he runs around other, like presses other people, is something which is in his
Is
scheme. And
It's not
and
about
Anthony
that. It's
Martial,
just that Anthony Martial has not had two good seasons consecutively.
yeah, you could,
He had a fantastic season last year. If he was able to replicate that, I would have uh, taken a step back. I
yeah,
was like, okay, let
which is
him
why
let
I've given him a 4. It's all
okay.
right. Yeah,
Edison Cavani with an 8. He was more
all
influential
right.
than and we're
So is
also
there
letting the
anyone else?
recency bias. I'll give him a 7.5, man. Bruno throughout the season
Hmm,
has shown what he's capable of. So Edinson Cavani
cool.
took some time to come into the squad. I think
Yeah.
7.5 is fair enough at par with them.
Now the big
Have you
one,
left anybody?
the manager.
Uh, 7.5. I think we're done. Did we have any other attacker? I guess not.
No, Amad Diallo and who else will we play?
No,
Elanga. I don't
Shola
think they had many
Shota.
clubs.
Do you want
Yeah,
to give a
forget them.
rating to Shola Shota?
Let's give them all
Let
fives.
them
Let's
play.
give them all fives. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, they played
let's
well. They
talk.
played well when they had the chance. Ahmad, I
Let's
think
talk.
Ahmad we can still bring in because he was played in the AC Milan fixture, no,
He
and he
scored in
scored
the AC Milan
with
game.
the yeah.
He's provided an assist against Leicester as well,
He
and he
was
could have
better than all these fucking. He was
he
better
could have
than
had
Anthony
another
Martial. He was
assist
better
against
than
Wolves. He could have had
yeah.
another
He could
assist
have
against Wolves.
yeah yeah
So
yeah yeah. Yeah.
so it's a six for me. That's why I said about Ahmad. Let's talk about the
6 or
manager.
5.5. 5.5 is better. 6 is too high
I would give him
because
a
he's
six,
not had
man. I
enough
love the
games.
guy. I already love the guy. I would give
Already
him
on
a
the
six.
hype train. Already on the
Yeah.
hype train. Okay, this is the forward line, and these are the ratings that we've given them. Marcus Rashford, 6.5, Anthony Martial, 4, Mason Greenwood, 6.5, Edinson Cavani with the massive 7.5 because of the impact that he's had. The manager, what kind of
You
season?
go. You go first about this. You go first.
I expected a trophy at least. And the start of the, I think if we go back to the podcast where we predicted what is going to happen, I expected a trophy at least, and I was constantly backing him. So I'm disappointed. I would have given him a 7 if he got a trophy, 7 or
Hmm.
7.5. And now that he has not, I'll although we have come second, but it's nothing.
Hmm.
So I'll give him a 6.5. I'll give him a
All right.
6.5.
All right. Cool. I also somewhat could relate to you over here. If he had won a trophy, for me it would have been a seven. But since he has not, and since we did qualify for the Champions League last season as well through top four, yeah, we did come second, but it's just 8 points. I don't think it was any significant margin. And we did come second. Yes, it's good on paper, but for me, it's a five. 2 marks he could have got if he had won us the trophy. And yeah, so I
That's
think
recency
calling him.
bias, man. That's
No,
recency
that
bias.
isn't.
That's
I
because
already see. I already told you like 5 or 4 months back. I don't care about the positions. If he does win a trophy, I'm with him. If he doesn't, I do not have trust in him. So yeah, for me, it's five, man. It's decent for him, I guess.
so we'll have to give a different rating.
Oh, by the way, since you
Hmm.
already knew what my condition was, like for me to stick with Ole for another year, like he had to win a trophy, what would be your thing for him to, for you to get that feeling to drive him out of the club? Like till what limit can you go?
What worse can happen for me to say that
Yeah,
he,
yeah, he has to go. Last final question.
mm, I'm not someone who points the fingers at the manager. Even when Mourinho was thrown under the bus, I was of the opinion that Mourinho shouldn't be because for clubs like this, I don't think manager is the problem most of the times. It is because of many factors, and for me, it'll be if he gets the signings and by
Still doesn't
Christmas,
it?
by Christmas, if we're not in the top four, say we are
Hmm.
languishing behind, we are not challenging for the title at all,
Hmm.
and say we are struggling in the Champions League or we are out of the group stage yet again, then I'll say okay,
Hmm.
it's a backup because this is the final season and you have to show something very significant. So I think if we get the signings and we are not, uh, yeah,
In the top four. All right. Seems
because
fair.
at least I want him to have his vision fulfilled at least once, and then if he
Yeah,
doesn't perform, like with Lampard, he gave him the money. He was like, okay, sign whoever you
but
want.
he didn't deliver.
He did, but he didn't deliver, so you fire him, and that's fair enough. Because you didn't deliver, you
Yeah.
have to be fired. And because now we are seeing with Thomas Tuchel what kind of performances these players are capable of. They are in the Champions League final. You can't get away from the fact they were in the FA Cup final. They could have had the trophy. They didn't. That's another factor. But from a season where they were languishing, I think eighth or tenth in the table, to this is a
Hmm.
significant resurrection that Chelsea has had. Even Liverpool,
Hmm.
every we as Manchester United fans, we were throwing them out. We were like they're not even. our competition. They will be playing in the Europa League after losing 6 games on the bounce at home.
At home.
I, so I think credit where credit's due. Chelsea with the players that he had, I think Frank Lampard should have done better. That is when you realize that okay,
Yeah,
the manager is now the problem. If he gets the signings and he doesn't deliver, he'll be like, okay, it's back up for you. Easy as that.
I think Sparks also thinks the
So
same.
yeah,
What do you
it's
say?
I'll
So
say if he gets the signings we all know we need and he still can't deliver, then yeah, fair enough. I want him to get at least the players that he is screaming for.
like one of the players that he's deeply in love with is Jaden Sancho. So just get him
Then,
that man. Get it done.
yeah,
He's in love with that.
at
Yeah.
least get it done. At least get it
Yeah.
done. He's been screaming, and the same goes for the thing with Jose Mourinho. He was screaming for a centre back. He even Harry Maguire revealed this
Yeah, he
on
wanted Harry Maguire,
Gary Neville.
and we could have got him
Uh,
cheaper. We could have got him cheaper
yeah,
back then.
he revealed Harry Maguire revealed this on Gary Neville's podcast that he had a
Yeah,
conversation with Jose Mourinho that I see you as a defender and we can do great things with Manchester United. Never made the
Harry Maguire
contract
and
for him.
Toby
So
Alderweireld were his
yeah,
preferences, but we didn't get them. So, anyways, so yeah, I think
I think that's
that's all
that.
right. Yeah,
Okay, that's
season
that
finally up
for
for
us.
a year of our podcast. So yeah, how does it feel, man?
Huh? More
A
than a
year of
year.
our
We have
podcast, more than a year.
no,
But this
no.
season,
Yeah, we did the
this
whole
season,
season.
like,
Like
yeah, we did the whole
we
season,
did
the
the
first
whole.
complete season,
Although I'd like to be more. I'd like
more
to be
consistent.
more consistent. Yeah, we have had some breakages. Although I try to be uh, as consistent as possible, and I'll try to be more consistent with Wali, Anshuman, these guys also uh, getting the streams done. I'll try to get in more. Uh, I wanted this to go somewhere else.
Mm.
If the pandemic didn't hit us this hard, I would have, because I was in Delhi for a while. I would
Yeah,
have stayed there for a longer while. I have plans that I want from this channel. I want some. I want to do the. I want us to be the first significant Manchester United or football based uh, podcast channel out of India, because I don't think
mm.
the kind of things that can be done are being done with football in India. Delhi, there is a proper environment. I wanted to have a conversation about the ISL, about the fan culture and
Yeah,
everything. I want more videos on this channel, and I'll try and post more. I'll try and post more. I'll not proper podcasts, but also the shorter ones, properly edited ones. I want the production quality to go up. There are many things I want. Let's see. I can see things going well if we drive towards a singular goal. If this pandemic thing we are vaccinated and we are finally able to get along with people, I think we can go places with this. And I hope that we do. What are your thoughts about the channel?
absolutely, absolutely. It's um although you could say that this has been something which has been more of a group therapy for me, and I'm sure it has been something of similar results to you and Anshuman and David and Akis also
Yeah,
to some extent, because we all know that we might not be the most popular of channels out there, but in spite of that, we just love talking about Manchester United. Even when we win,
mm.
we are on our WhatsApp group. You just have to get it out here, because once it's off
Yeah.
your chest, you feel much better, because this is we as sports enthusiasts, we don't look for an audience.
Also, there this gives you a perspective, because if we
Exactly.
are being if I'm talking to myself, I'm gathering information about other things. This is only my perspective, because this is
Yeah.
contrast of perspectives. Like even if
Yeah.
you're Ole out or I'm Ole, you're able to get the
It's
point
a healthy
across.
debate.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, so you understand where the other person is coming from. That is also great. Spark says I'd love to be on your show sometimes, guys. Spark, if you could please, there must be the link of our Instagram in the
Yeah. You can
description.
DM this.
Please
DMS
DM us
there.
there. We'll get in contact, and we can probably feature you as well sometimes on our podcast. So yeah, that's it for us at One United. This was a very long one, and rightfully so, because it was the conclusion. I I hope that we do the Euros as well in slightly in relation to Manchester United, about the players, how they're performing, and who are we targeting. the transfer
If
situations
we
will
sign
come like
someone, we can do that. Yeah,
yeah.
transfer rumors, we can do that as well. So
Okay, because
plenty of content
football
coming up.
football is something we like, and I'd like to I'd like to have some good content on this channel. So yeah, subscribe to our channel if you are watching it for the first time, or you have any friends who are there, who are Manchester United fans or football fans in general. You can subscribe to our channel, watch us, give us feedback on our comments, share the videos, like the video if you like what we are doing here at One United. Yeah, that's the end of the season for Manchester United, and for us, we'll see you guys soon. And we'll try to come straight back after the Champions League final as well, because we'll have one team to laugh at. Because I see
Yeah,
these fans slightly creeping in, and just after match, I was very pissed off with the way that people were mocking Bruno, especially after the performances that he is at. Give the man the respect, man.
they would love
Give the
him
man the
to.
respect.
They would love to have him in his side. But yeah,
And
it's
you're still
banter.
mocking him.
It's banter. Fair.
Okay. See,
All right,
see
guys.
you guys. See you guys next time.
Take care.
Hopefully soon. Good night. Take care, and hopefully we see a Manchester United side lifting a trophy in a year's time.
Hopefully this turns into a one.
We'll see, man. We'll have to wait for the
Yeah.
transfers. This still has time. This still has
Cool,
time.
bro.
Okay. Good night.